Hi, I'm Nadia, and I'm a senior from Townsend Harris.
Hi, I'm Aaleia, and I'm also a senior.
Hi, I'm Nameera. I'm a junior at Townsend Harris.
And this is Operation Tomatometer.
Today, we'll be having our Marvel episode where we'll be reviewing Marvel's latest Eternals. But also, stay tuned for our raw reaction to the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer later in the episode. But for now, enjoy the show.
So now is Rotten or Not? Well, we'll try to put our heads together to try and predict the score that the tomato heads at Rotten Tomatoes gave the movie.
We'll be talking about if that rating is ripe or pretty rotten. But also be sure to write us a review on Apple Podcasts or in the comments and tell us if you think the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is a testament to today's film.
And you guys will also be able to learn our takes on this Marvel of an episode. Get it?
Yeah.
Even though that joke was pretty corny, that does lead us into our topic for discussion for today, which is Marvel's Eternals, like Nadia said earlier. So now let's get into the guessing.
Nameera, do you want to say your guess first?
Sure. So in terms of like what critics would perceive, I think it would be at a solid 80. I think there's a lot of great points in diversity, and that kind of really appeals to critics, just seeing how that was seamlessly embedded within the movie itself, you know?
I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum with that. I feel like critics maybe were not very impressed by it. I think it's very different from other Marvel movies. The audience score might have been higher, but I think that critics might have placed it more around like a 50.
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of similar to Nameera. I was thinking an 81, so really, really close to your guess. 50 is really interesting. I'd be really surprised. I think critics would definitely have some issues with the film because compared to other Marvel films, I think it definitely was underwhelming in just like plot and storyline in some aspects. But I think it definitely also had its strong points within the film, such as also cinematography has some issues as well, but they did have a lot of beautiful like CGI and cinematography.
I have to disagree with you about the plot. I think that critics might have liked the plot. They might have thought that it was tedious at times, maybe, or even that it was too fast-paced because it could have been split up into other, like an entire series maybe. But yeah, maybe die-hard fans might not have been impressed by it because they wanted more action to it, and a lot of the action was more magical, and they used a lot of CGI, whereas in other Marvel movies it's a lot of like physical fighting.
I definitely was thinking in the back of my head what Marvel die-hard fans would think as well, and also just how Eternals as a whole connects to the whole universe. It's a very thin connection actually, but we can go into that later, and for now we can just see what the actual score is. So drum roll. What is? Oh my god.
Really?
A 47?
I said 50, but I don't know if I was actually
you were closest this week.
that.
This is for Aaleia. Last week I won, but now it's... Oh god.
So this week it's not.
I'm actually really
fresh.
surprised. Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen a Marvel film. I mean,
Rated this low.
I knew people were saying it was the lowest rated Marvel film, but I didn't know it was that low. That's insanely low. Okay, so all of us just take a step back and we can
take a step back. Let's just
soak it in. Do we agree with this score now on a personal level? Is what the question is.
No, I think that it was very good. I personally liked that. Like you were saying, that it wasn't like as connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as other movies. So someone who maybe hasn't seen the other ones or hasn't heard of it somehow would have watched it and they would have enjoyed it not because of its connection to the universe, but just as its own standalone film.
That's true. I think people outside of Marvel like that aren't like super fans can also come and enjoy it, which is nice. And I don't think that even the film itself was trying to brand itself as a connection, a complete connection, because I think in the trailer you could gauge that it was kind of standalone. But I do wonder, now I'm not sure like comics wise, but I'm not sure if some fans maybe were disappointed because I know at some point in the film when one character asks like, where were you when Thanos was wiping out half the earth? I'm not sure if it's kind of like a lame excuse or explanation. It's just like, oh, we weren't allowed to, because you have these such powerful beings and it's just they weren't able to help when Thanos was around. So it's just, I'm wondering what some fans' thoughts were about that like explanation in a way, and if it just kind of seemed like a brush.
Yeah, adding on to that, I feel like this movie was too explicit about the actual like background of the Eternals. I feel like with other Marvel movies, you're able to piece together the story, whereas in Eternals, they were literally just saying it.
That's
and
true.
That's something that I think that fans like to figure out by themselves and see where the intricacies lie. And then that's also possibly why it wasn't as connected to the MCU as we would have liked.
That's true.
That's interesting. I actually liked the explanations that they gave. Like, there was an opening crawl to it.
Yeah.
Which I actually did not read the first time because I was kind of confused. But yeah, I'm glad that they gave explanations during it, and I actually liked everything about it, like even the flashbacks and everything. But there were definitely some issues that I think the critics picked up on. For example, the character development I felt was extremely lacking.
Okay. Yeah, I think in some regards it felt kind of fulfilled, like the character interactions and the dynamics, but in some regards it did feel kind of bland and I wasn't so attached to some characters. Which I think it's hard when you're presenting a film that has so many characters and it's a very dynamic film where you're relying on this, like Avengers. You're totally enthralled in the whole like interactions between all of them. But I think Eternals kind of fell short on that one.
But I think that the character development probably could have been done a lot better.
Okay, so let's just sit back and just to clarify our thoughts about this Rotten Tomatoes critic score. We agree or we disagree?
I do not agree with this. I think that while it had its problems, I think that it should have been given a much higher score. Definitely not as good as the best films of all time or even the best Marvel films, but I don't think it deserved that low of a score.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely not like a super high score. In the 70s and 80s sounds about right to me, but I agree with you. That's a little too low, I believe.
I think the score does some injustice here because there was a lot of I want to say dedication, and especially with just obviously it left a good taste in my mouth at the end.
Yeah.
But I think the score is a little too harsh. I think the 70's proper.
I think it is a little harsh. I think when I'm going into a film that has a 47 rating, I'm expecting like lowest of the low, and that does not fit Eternals at all. So in what ways do we agree with this? What about the film do we think maybe could have deserved such a low score?
Well, the character development, like I said, it really could have been done in 2 movies. It could have been done in an entire television show. I would have loved to see that. And I think that they tried to smush it into 1 movie, and at the same time, it sometimes went on for too long. So the pacing needed some work, and it just didn't come across as well as other Marvel movies that were maybe even more well thought out.
To add on to that, I think while Eternals had some beautiful like CGI and some beautiful shots, I think in some scenes the cinematography was really lacking, and I think it was very dull at points. Do you have any other points that maybe could be like a negative of the film?
I feel like the characters weren't as fleshed out as Aaleia was saying, but also the fact that like the runtime is incredibly long for something that does not accomplish as much as I would have liked to seen on screen. 2 hours 40-ish minutes is like really long, and it's kind of standard for a Marvel movie. But I think that they could have fleshed out a little bit more. Seeing more of the dynamics between all of the love triangles that were going on and all the pairings there, and also fleshing out maybe some death scenes even more.
Now that we've said the negatives, any ways we disagree with this score? What about the film would be a disagree?
The plot, I think, was very good. I know that there were comics about the Eternals, and I never read them, so I don't know if it did them justice, but I think that they did a pretty good job with so many characters, giving you an attachment to them and really making you very invested in the story. And especially with the flashbacks to the past, I really liked that, even though it might have seemed a little strange that they were going back to like Babylon and places. I thought it was very smart.
I agree. I like when a film can play with like exposition and the time, and it just doesn't follow linear in a linear manner. It doesn't just go from past to the present. I like when it plays around with that and it goes from present to past to present to past. I like that.
I also really liked the score. I thought the score is actually quite good, and it's very like MCU cinematic. Like it wells up and then it flows down, and I think that's something that added onto the film, especially when we had like action scenes. So that's something I enjoyed. Do we think that this is some sort of backlash coming for all of the like critically acclaimed high ratings that Marvel movies have been receiving?
I think definitely so. I mean, personally, not even objectively, I think Eternals didn't reach the level of other Marvel films, but I think complete 47, I think definitely it's a disservice to the film.
I think it really appealed to me personally, and I think that it probably did the same thing for other people, but one of the things that might have given it such a low score is that it was controversial. And that's the problem with some of these algorithms with giving scores to films and television shows, is that if there's controversy, it's more likely to get a lower score. And controversy in some things is good, right? We want people to have different opinions on films, especially if it hits on topics that you might want to hear represented or you might not want to hear represented. I think that it definitely deserved a higher score, and it should be certified fresh.
Yeah, and I think that controversy really comes into light when considering that this is still an MCU movie, but is it really, like, do we really want to compare it to every other MCU movie, or can we just take it as its own? And I think that's also where a lot of conflicting opinions come in, because we have audiences who've never seen MCU movies, and there's audiences who are, like, diehard fans, and they're comparing every little detail.
I think as someone who's seen every Marvel movie when it comes out, I think definitely it's going to be very hard for other fans in the same way to totally disconnect Eternals from Marvel, and I think it's just naturally they're going to compare it. And I just think that Eternals does fall flat in that regard, because just the whole premise, Eternals, they're alien beings, they should be super, super powerful. I felt kind of underwhelmed in the sense in regard to their powers. Each one has a specific power, which in a way already kind of seemed a little off to me. Now, I haven't read the comics, but just as a viewer, this is what struck me. Because it seemed kind of like the same level as Avengers in a way. I didn't get that eternal sense from them. They were very powerful, that's for sure, but I didn't really get that higher, like that
otherworldly type.
Exactly.
Feeling.
I feel like I got that more from Captain Marvel, actually. So I think we've reached a consensus on Eternals, and now to move on to our very anticipated bring Holland to Harris to Tom Ado segment. And the new trailer came out 2 days ago. We've been all waiting to see it. It's been very hard to avoid spoilers, so we're really excited to watch it now. Okay, I'm actually really, really excited.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
My heart's like bracing right now.
That spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker spider.
Doctor Strange.
I don't know why he would do this in the first place, though. Like, I feel like he should know the consequences of this. Oh my god. Yo, welcome back to New York. Is that Green Goblin?
They're bringing back the Sony villains.
Yes. If we see Andrew or Toby, I'm going insane. Oh my god.
Is that Dr. Octopus?
Yeah. That's so insane seeing them with the Tom Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
I love his new suit.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Oh my god.
I'm about to.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back.
These are beautiful shots, right?
Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know,
Okay.
all this is kind of your mess.
New
I
York,
know
it
a
has to be
couple magic
beautiful.
words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
At least we know we're getting some data here.
I know! I was just gonna say that.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, kid.
What?
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Bro, what's going on?
No.
Look, there has to be another way.
Where is it?
What is
There's
going
danger to
on?
our universe. You're not gonna take this away from me.
Electro.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want.
That's insane.
They destroyed New York.
Tries to make you choose.
They just destroy New York. Wait, Sandman.
Sandman.
Can't save everyone.
Wow.
That's
look at
insane!
Wow.
That's so insane. Ooh. No.
No.
She can't
Bro,
die.
no. That Gwen parallel, I'm gonna... He better, because Andrew Spider-Man didn't save Gwen, as we all know, so... getting a
They're
little...
starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively at movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
I will be there.
Spider Monday.
Oh my god.
That was intense.
That that trailer was really good.
I'm sorry, what was that scene where he was just ascending out of his body?
I know. I'm really interested. We see more Doctor Strange as like a villainy kind of character here. Something's going on, so I'm really excited to see that whole interaction between Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. I'm so excited for the villains to come back. That's really exciting. And again, if I see Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
No way. No shot. Oh my god.
I think they're bringing back the old actors.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Oh, okay.
cameos.
Well, actually, I just thought of something else. If anyone has seen Venom Carnage that just came out, I saw it. Look for a post-credit scene. Can I spoil? I think Venom's also going to be in this as well. So I'm really, really excited for that too. So again, just really excited to see all these characters come together.
So that trailer was really intense. We got to see some really cool shots. That slow-mo, god, that was so good. And just like, welcome back to New York. It's coming back. And destruction. Oh my god, I can't even imagine like how crazy that is to shoot. I know everyone's gonna be swarming in the city. And I'm just really excited, It's another Spider-Man movie. What's not to love?
Yeah. I really love the whole multiverse vibe we're getting from this and just everything. It's just so exciting because it's the end of a trilogy. And I mean, they had to go big or go home.
Oh, so good.
Taking my job.
The puns.
But we just want to reiterate that he is still the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
And that neighborhood is Queens.
So once again, we're asking Tom Holland to come to Townsend Harris in Queens. And right here.
To talk to Queens students.
So that's it for today's episode. If you want to tell us your thoughts, you can put comments on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts. And
rate us 5 stars.
Yes, rate us at 5 stars. And continuously hashtag Bring Holland to Harris. And thank you all for your support. Once again, I'm Nadia.
I'm Aaleia.
And I'm Nameera.
And this is Operation Tomatometer. Bye!